Hey friends, welcome back to the Inner Room Podcast. I'm your favorite host, Rayada K. Thank y'all so much for tuning back in with us this week. So we are going to be talking about this doesn't feel like victory. Or as I wrote it in my notes, this don't feel like victory. We're not going to be fancy about it. This don't feel like victory. So currently in my life, I feel like I'm in like this huge state of like learning to be obedient and walking in obedience and finding out what obedience feels like, and it don't feel like how I thought it was gonna feel. I had a situation at work, which I can't say too much about, but it was pretty traumatic to me. And I've been trying to process it. And on top of me trying to process it, I'm dealing with potting and I'm having different people calling me for advice and asking me questions about like their spiritual life and stuff. And I'm just like, ooh, Lord. But most of my time is spent at work. And so dealing with the work situation on top of trying to figure out life and figure out potting and figure out all of the other different things that I have going on, I sat with myself and I was like, Lord, I don't know how I feel right now, but this don't really feel like victory. It don't really feel like victory. And in this, I started seeing a therapist. So y'all, I am taking action to making sure that, I stay afloat. So I started seeing a therapist, and my therapist made a statement. She was talking to me about being stagnant. And I have spent a lot of time doing things that I don't necessarily want to be doing. And so my therapist was just like, why aren't you doing what you want to be doing? What's going on? And I was like, I don't really know. And she was like, no, we're going to talk about it, And so with that, she made a statement, and she was like, sometimes God puts us in a predicament and in a place where he makes us so uncomfortable that we have no choice but to move. And I just looked at her, because my therapy sessions are virtual, y'all, and I looked and I said, okay. And she was like, you know that, don't you? Yeah. Yeah. We know that. I'm well aware. And she was like, do you think that could be what's happening to you now? And I'm like, possibly. And so with me realizing that, like, I'm in a space where it don't really feel like victory, where me being obedient and I'm taking a hit and I'm trying to figure out how to process it. I'm battling with confidence and, self-appreciation, self-worth. Her saying that you could be in a predicament where you're uncomfortable with purpose and on purpose. It kind of made me sit and think like, okay, so what do we really have going on right now? Okay, and so once I sat and I started to reflect and I started thinking to myself, I'm like, wow. And it led me back to something that God spoke to me years ago. And I think it might have been during COVID actually. But I realized that there are so many lives attached to our obedience. Your lack of obedience could be stalling somebody else's breakthrough, or your lack of obedience could be hindering somebody else from moving forward, from really tapping into who it is that God is calling them to be, what it is that God is calling them to do. And so when I talked to her about, me not understanding and not really knowing why I'm not doing what I want to be doing or what I know I'm called to be doing, it all led me back to like that obedience. And with obedience, it doesn't always feel good. Obedience doesn't always feel good. It doesn't always look good. Me and obedience really been beefing the last couple of weeks, because baby, this don't feel like victory. And I told God, I was like, I'm doing what it is that you want me to be doing, and I don't really feel victorious right now. I don't understand where we disconnecting. Where is the disconnect, sir? And he allowed me to really sit and reflect with myself and kind of be like, okay, just because you're in a winning season, it's not going to always feel like winning, but there's purpose in it. You know, there's peace in that obedience. There is joy that comes with obedience. And it may not feel the best right now, but where you're going is so much bigger than where you are. So you can't be complacent in your feelings and complacent in where you are right now. You got to keep pushing forward regardless to how it feels. You can't allow your feelings to dictate your life. You have to keep pressing, keep pushing, keep hauling. We in it for the long haul. We got some place to be. You got some place to be. I got some place to be. We got to keep moving. Like I said, we got some place to be. And it's not going to always feel victorious. But one, we can't operate off our emotions again. And two, anything worth having does not come easy. Anything worth having doesn't come easy. So I know y'all are probably like, okay, girl, so if that's the case, what am I supposed to do right now? What am I supposed to do in this season? The first thing that I'm going to advise you to do is pray. Do not allow your emotions to separate you and pull you away from God. I read a post on Instagram, and I'm going to try to quote it, but I might not. To make a long story short, what they said was, when you don't feel like praying, force it, because something is also forcing you not to pray. And so make sure that you go into God, you're sticking to Him, and you're like, Lord, even when you don't feel like it, Lord, look, I don't really have much words to say. Just hear my heart. Hear my heart. Or something else that I always say, push. Pray until something happens. Pray until that breakthrough happens. Pray until that new job happens. Pray until those new friends come along. The second thing I'll say is community. Y'all, community is so important. Surround yourself with people who speak into your life. Surround yourself with people who are encouraging you, who are loving on you, who are spreading love and light to your life in the seasons that you feel dark. Surround yourself with great people. Pray for discernment when you're surrounding yourself with people, because the people that you surround yourself with is so important. You pick up on their habits, you pick up on the things that they say, the vibe that they carry. So make sure that you're surrounding yourself with good people. The third thing that I would advise is to love on yourself. Speak over yourself. If you have to find scriptures based on what you're going through that kind of helps counteract you overthinking, because I don't know about anybody else, I'm a major overthinker, but we are coming out of that. We're trying to work our way out of that. But if you are somebody who overthinks, or you're somebody who, doesn't understand the season that you're in, find you some scriptures that you can recite to yourself, or write them down. Make a little note in your phone. All of y'all use your phones 24/7 anyway. Make sure, put a little note in your phone. Write down some scriptures that kind of counteract the negative thoughts that are flowing through your head, so that you're fighting back. Don't lose that fighting spirit. Shout out to my mentor, because she tells me that all the time. Don't lose your fighting spirit, and make sure that you're feeding that fighting spirit in you as well. So yeah, speak over yourself. Spend some time with yourself. Love on yourself. If you're not feeling the best today, get up, go outside, do your makeup. Anything that's going to make you feel more like you, and that counts as you loving on yourself. And then the last thing I'm going to say is release. Release. It is okay to cry. It is okay to be emotional. My therapist literally just told me this, and my friends tell me this all the time. Cry if you have to. Scream if you have to. Yell if you have to. Go to a rage room and bang stuff and knock stuff over and break things. Whatever you have to do to release. Even journaling is something that I'm like picking up. One of my friends, she journals like crazy, and it inspires me to try to journal. So journaling is a good form of release. Talking to somebody is a good form of release. Like I said again, crying. Like, do whatever it is that you have to do in order to release those emotions, because you don't want to harbor those emotions and bottle it all up. Because let me tell y'all something. If you drop a Mentos in a Coke bottle, it's going to explode. It is going to explode. So something just as small as a Mentos to everything that you've bottled can blow that Coke bottle up. And we don't need you blowing up on nobody at all. So yeah, anything, just keep in mind, y'all, that anything God brings you to, God will bring you through. Do not get stuck in your emotions. Don't get stuck in where you are right now. Continue to push, continue to pray, surround yourself with good people, love on yourself and release. And yeah, you're gonna be good. It's okay. It don't feel like victory, but we getting there. We don't operate off our feelings. I love y'all so much. I pray that this encourages you. I pray that this speaks to your heart. I pray that God continues to pour his love and his strength on you in moments where you don't feel like you have much strength. And yeah, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share this with a friend, and I will catch y'all on the next episode. Bye.